In this edition of Back in History, we bring to you the story of Dr. Ameyo Stella Adadevoh, a Nigerian medical practitioner who prevented the spread of the Ebola virus in Nigeria, but who paid the supreme price for her action by losing her life for others to be alive. In preventing the spread of Ebola in Nigeria, she got infected and became overpowered by the virus. In this edition, we discuss her birth, her parentage, her education, her career, and her untimely and remarkably sacrificial death. Welcome to this edition of Back in History. There are job hazards in almost every profession on earth. Policing, the legal profession, engineering, medicine, nursing, the military, and many other professions all have their hazards. Sometimes the practitioners of these professions get injured in the course of their work, and in other times, they lose their lives. Dr. Ameyo Stella Adadevoh, a Nigerian-born medical practitioner, lost her life following her admission and treatment of an Ebola patient in the hospital First Consultant Hospital in Lagos State, Nigeria. Her name went viral across all corners of Nigeria, across Africa, and across the globe. By her refusal to allow the Ebola patients to move into the densely populated Lagos streets, Dr. Adadevoh saved the lives of many Nigerian citizens from the deadly Ebola virus, which was ravaging many countries in Africa at the time. Ebola was a deadly disease in some countries in Africa a few years ago. It was so deadly that some communities were wiped off by the deadly disease in a couple of instances. People died in hundreds and thousands. Ebola was airborne and easily communicable. All what was needed in most instances was for one infected person to move into the midst of non-infected persons and get them infected in just a matter of time. To prevent the spread, countries closed their borders and stopped infected persons from traveling into their territories. Ebola was very serious, and the fear of Ebola was real. Dr. Ameyo Stella Adadevoh was a medical practitioner in Lagos State, Nigeria. She owned a hospital in Lagos. The name of the hospital was First Consultant Hospital. On one fateful day in 2014, while Dr. Adadevoh was in her hospital, her patient came into the hospital for medical attention. The name of the patient was Patrick Sawyer. He came into Lagos from Liberia to attend a conference in Calabar, Cross River State. At that time, Liberia was seriously ravaged by the Ebola virus, and everybody was afraid of Liberia. How Patrick Sawyer was able to travel into Nigeria at the time was a shocker to many. Dr. Adadevoh attended to him and immediately diagnosed that he was infected by the Ebola virus. If Dr. Adadevoh had released him from the hospital, thousands of people in the densely populated city of Lagos would have been infected and would have died of the Ebola virus. From Lagos, the virus would have spread to other parts of Nigeria. Adadevoh took the decision to keep the patient in the hospital and quarantine him to avoid the spread of the virus. Sawyer requested to be released to enable him attend a conference in Calabar, Cross River State, Nigeria. He told Dr. Adadevoh that he was only having malaria symptoms and should be released. Dr. Adadevoh was aware of the health implication of releasing Sawyer to travel from Lagos in the western region of Nigeria to Calabar in the southern part of the country. She thus refused to discharge him. Rather, she created an isolation area at the hospital for Patrick Sawyer and took the risk to treat him in the isolated area. She gave the best medical attention to Patrick Sawyer. She came under intense pressure from the Liberian government through its ambassador in Nigeria to release the patient. When threatened by Liberian officials who wanted the patient to be discharged to attend the conference, she resisted the pressure and said that, quote, for the greater public good, end of quote, she would not release him. Her action saved Nigeria from the widespread of the infection. At the time of these events, Nigerian doctors were on strike, which could have led to severe health crises in the country. In taking these preventive actions, Dr. Adadevoh had exposed herself to danger. She had contracted the deadly Ebola virus while trying to save her countrymen and women from the virus. On 4th August 2014, it was confirmed that she had tested positive to Ebola virus disease. She was immediately quarantined and given the best possible treatment. But sadly, on 19th August 2014, Dr. Ameyo Stella Adadevoh was pronounced dead. She died in the course of preventing the spread of Ebola virus in her country. Nigeria had lost a jewel and a woman of love. She died a sacrificial death. She was deeply mourned by the government and people of Nigeria. Dr. Adadevoh had an admirable family background. She was the granddaughter of Nigeria's foremost nationalist, Herbert Macaulay. Herbert Macaulay is the man whose face is on Nigeria's 1 naira banknote. Herbert was a renowned scientist and a highly respected Nigerian patriot. Adadevoh's father, Babatunde Kwaku Adadevoh, was also a distinguished scientist. Her father was a former vice-chancellor of the University of Lagos. Her family's root is traceable to the Adadevoh family of the Volta region of Ghana, to which Stella was very much connected, though she lived in Lagos. Dr. Stella Adadevoh was also the grandniece of Nigeria's first president, Nnamdi Azikiwe. She was also a great-great-granddaughter of Bishop Ajayi Crowther. It therefore goes without saying that Dr. Ameyo Stella Adadevoh was from a stock of highly distinguished persons and rich pedigree. Dr. Ameyo Adadevoh was born in Lagos on 27th October 1956. She attended preschool at the Mainland Preparatory Primary School in Yaba, Lagos State, Nigeria, from 1961 to 1962. She spent 2 years in Boston, Massachusetts before moving back with her family to Lagos. She attended primary school at the Corona School, Yaba, in Lagos, Nigeria, between 1964 to 1968, and later attended the Queen's School, Ibadan, from 1969 to 1974 for her secondary school education. She thereafter gained admission to study medicine in the University of Lagos, and in due time she graduated with a Bachelor of Medicine / Bachelor of Surgery. She underwent her 1-year mandatory housemanship at Lagos University Teaching Hospital in 1981. She spent her residency at Lagos University Teaching Hospital and obtained her West African College of Physicians and Surgeons credentials in 1983. She then went to London to complete her fellowship in endocrinology at Hammersmith Hospital. She spent 21 years at the First Consultant Medical Center in Lagos, Nigeria. There she served as the lead consultant physician and endocrinologist. She died while serving in the same hospital. On 26 April 1986, she got married to Afolabi Emmanuel Cardoso, and together they had one son, Bankole Cardoso. Following her death, her body was decontaminated and cremated by the government of Lagos. Her family obtained her ashes and held a private funeral ceremony in her honor on 12 September 2014 in Lagos State, Nigeria. Dr. Adadevoh has been celebrated and her name immortalized in several ways since her death. On 27th October 2018, she was honored with a Gogo Dodo posthumously on what would have been her 62nd birthday, and her picture was displayed by Google across the continents of the world. In February 2020, a road was named after Adadevoh in Abuja, Nigeria's capital territory. The road Ameyo Stella Way is directly linked with Ahmadu Bello Way, one of Abuja's major and longest roads. Also, the female medical students hostel of Babcock University in Ogun State is named after her. In October 2022, she was honored posthumously with Nigeria's National Award of Officer of the Order of the Niger, OON. In December 2014, CNN named her the Leading Woman of the Year. Still in December 2014, the International Medical Corps United Kingdom named her as, quote, #1 humanitarian everyone should know about. She has been honored severally by other institutions and organizations such as Best University, Abuja, Redeemed Christian Church of God in Nigeria, First Bank of Nigeria, and several other institutions. It is the hope of Back in History that one day, and not long again, a brand new hospital in the city of Lagos or any other part of Nigeria shall be named after her in deeper appreciation of her selfless sacrifice for humanity. Dr. Adadevoh's name shall continue to resonate across Nigeria, Africa, and the world for the good reasons for many more years to come. Thanks for watching this episode of Back in History, and do remember to subscribe to the channel or follow the page for regular notification on every new video.